Hello everyone and welcome to the channel. I'm Emmanuel, I'm an airline pilot, and today let's have a look at Honeycomb Aeronautical and the recent happenings around that company. I'm sure many of you know the Alpha flight controls, the Bravo throttle and the Charlie pedals. Well, the first of the two at least you know from personal experience, the third probably not so much. Now, what's that reason? Well, the Charlie pedals were up for pre-sale, but as far as I'm aware none of them have actually been shipped. And Honeycomb just recently went to Facebook to explain the reason why. Now, I'm not going to read out the Facebook article to you, I will leave it to you to judge exactly what you think has happened there. But just for the sake of completeness, let's have a very quick look at that article. So this is what they came up with, you guys can read it, I will link the actual article in the description below, and also some major news outlets in flight simulation such as FS Elite have covered their fair share of it. Alright, so that is what we are going to talk about today. Now, to be perfectly honest with you guys here, I do not want to judge or rate anything with this article, but I want to talk about something real quick, and that is the fact that first of all, they did come out to Facebook, and whether I believe that article is believable or not. So, first of all, it does take quite a bit of, let's say it takes quite a bit of trust from the owner of Honeycomb to actually come out to Facebook and make a detailed post like this. In my opinion, there's a lot of frustration showing in there, so I do actually believe that what he's saying is genuinely honest, even though obviously that does not justify any of the happenings around the company, since after all the CEO needs to be aware of what's going on. However, with as small as flight simulation is, we need to keep in mind that most of these businesses are rather small, run by only a couple of people, like he explains in the case of this Honeycomb article. And things like these can and do happen. I can personally understand what's happened there. However, that does of course not justify what is going on, but his recommendation for people to go to their credit card company, see if they can get the money back, because otherwise he's got no possibility to actually do refunds. That sounds rather desperate to me, and in my opinion kinda underlines what is actually happening. Keep in mind the huge damage he's causing to Honeycomb just by recommending that to happen en masse. That's going to cause lots of credit card providers to block that company and so on. So that much just about this background. Now, the actual reason I'm making this video though is because I want to provide my opinion for what's going on there. Now, first of all, my general opinion on Honeycomb products there, I've been using them from ever since they first came out by getting the Alpha flight controls pretty much the day they came out. Only later I replaced them with the Boeing Yoke just because, well, it's a Boeing Yoke. And the Alpha flight controls were more of a general aviation style. Now, the Bravo throttle I'm using on all the way until today, and it is actually my favorite flight simulator throttle at the moment, providing some really great techniques for precise control, and the simple fact that it comes with 6 axes and it comes with both normal airline thrust levers and general aviation levers just makes it a very versatile control. And let's face it over here, for the price point at which it comes, it's really a revolutionary article. Now, why am I saying all this? Basically because Honeycomb is in trouble. Now, those of you who bought the Charlie pedals will need to get their money back, there's absolutely no doubt about that. However, since it is rather uncertain what's actually going to happen with Honeycomb, I do want to maybe even make a recommendation here that right now is a good point in time to consider getting the Alpha flight controls or the Bravo throttle. Now, obviously I would at this point not recommend to buy from Honeycomb directly, but there are many third-party resellers, such as, for example, Aerosoft or others, whom have great sales on the Honeycomb hardware at the moment. If we take a quick look, for example, into the Aerosoft store over here, we can see that they are reduced by some 32% over here, making both the flight controls as well as the Bravo throttle available for 190 euros including taxes. And that, in my opinion, is an awesome deal that you guys can get in order to get some of the already existing Honeycomb hardware that you really cannot do anything wrong with. Both the Alpha and the Bravo, in my opinion, are superb hardware. Now, I'm sure that Charlie would be as well if these guys were able to sort out the company internal problems. Now, I do of course get that there will be quite a couple of you saying like, man, the company is ripping us off and you make adverts for them. What's going on there? Well, first of all, let me say that I'm not getting paid. Indeed, I have not had any contact with Honeycomb at all for doing this video, but I simply believe that my channel has always been about giving the best possible recommendations to the flight sim community. And as a matter of fact, I do believe that the Bravo throttle is right now the best possible recommendation for a throttle quadrant. And if you're a general aviation guy, then the Alpha Flight controls may very well be for you as well. So that's pretty much what it is about. You can make a good deal there right now. And who knows for how long these pieces of hardware are actually going to be available over, well, whatever period of time to come. At any point, Honeycomb, at least in my personal opinion, might just file for bankruptcy because, well, they have severe financial troubles at the moment. But as long as you don't buy from Honeycomb directly, but as long as you buy from third-party resellers such as Aerosoft, think of them what you want, there are other resellers as well. In my opinion, it is still a good thing to get those pieces of hardware. Obviously, there will be some controversy about that, so if you disagree with me, then be sure to put it in the comments below. Now, in order to give you a little example of why I like the Bravo so much, let's just jump into that 737 over here and do a very quick traffic pattern without any, without any kind of details or something, but let's just focus a little bit on thrust handling here and what the Honeycomb can actually do. Overall, it is a piece of hardware that I'm recommending in this video, isn't it? So, let's just go for a quick takeoff, we'll do a quick traffic pattern, and then we'll see what the Bravo throttle can do in action and why I actually like it so much in this video. Obviously, at this point, if you just came here to listen to my opinion on Honeycomb, then you may as well finish that video at this point, because from now on it's going to be more or less a demonstration of why I actually like the Honeycomb so much, rather than just, rather than talking about actually what's going on there in the background. You guys can read the Facebook article, and I am sure that you will be able to make up your own opinion based on that, however that opinion might ultimately turn out. So we've got a positive rate, and there is a hardware thrust lever on the Honeycomb, which I do really appreciate. Now, I did a past video already on how to get it work with most of your flight simulation hardware, so be sure to check that out if you are interested. Alright then, so let's go ahead and bug 1. Let's start the traffic pattern over here, and as soon as we are reaching our pattern altitude, let's use the flap lever that we've got on the Honeycomb to retract our flaps. And now let's go ahead and go for manual thrust control. Now, manual thrust control obviously is something rather important in any aircraft, and there are a couple of things on the Honeycomb that I do really appreciate about it. The first one being that you can control your engines very precisely. So, it's fairly easy to make a control adjustment within just 1% of N1, and in Boeing aircraft that is absolutely what you need. I was rather surprised when I flew Airbus for the first time that in Airbus these things don't work as well as they do in Boeings, but in Boeings they do, and the Honeycomb does give you the opportunity to control your engines all the way down to the exact N1 percentage. Look at it right now, for example, running exactly 60% N1, which is exactly the Boeing recommended value for maintaining the flap maneuvering speed, which as you can see works really well. Overall, you do know that we fly our airliners based upon exact control inputs, and therefore being able to control your thrust exactly is just one of these important things that will help you fly your airliners to a higher standard. Now, if we just have a look into some of the other abilities that the Honeycomb has, you've got the autopilot control switches up there. So for example, if I switch it to let's say heading control right now, then without even touching my mouse I'm able to adjust the heading and stuff like that. So it is quite a versatile piece of equipment that we've got here, and indeed it is something that I do really appreciate, having all those possibilities in one piece of hardware. So we are passing abeam the runway threshold. Let's go ahead and start that timing, looking for 45 seconds. for our traffic pattern, and all these little controls come in really handy when you are flying hands-on in a traffic pattern like we are right now, but even just if you prefer touching your hardware over touching your software. Now it does, for example, come with a speed brake lever as well in the Boeing configuration, like here, really neat to have, and then you've got a flap lever as well. So all of these cool things turn out really handy in my opinion, and the Honeycomb just has the best price for what you get ratio. So that's why I am such a big fan of these pieces of hardware. Now, switching over to the speed control mode, let me turn the speed bug down. And now we've got 45 seconds, so let's start our base turn. That's going to be gear down, flaps 15 then. Alright, let's reduce our thrust a little bit, but the way you fly airliners is you just do small inputs here. So as you can see, I just reduced my thrust by about 10% and 1 over here. And that is really how you fly it. Now, on approach even further, if you are flying the approach and you have your target thrust setting, which is in a 737 for a flap 30 landing, as we're going to do gross weight minus 4 or gross weight minus 3. So we are coming in at about, let's have a very quick look here, 62 tons. So we're looking at about 59% and 1 for our final approach. And that is something that you need a thrust lever that is able to set these things accurately. And the Honeycomb is one of these pieces of hardware. So if we take a look at it right now, I need to add a little bit more thrust in order to control my rate of descent here. And with the Honeycomb, I can just set it as precisely as I really need to, which is something that I really appreciate about this piece of hardware. Let's go level flight here, might need some 70%. You can see once again, I'm able to set these very precisely using the Honeycomb hardware here. And that's part of the reason why I'm able to fly these things rather accurately. While if you're using, let's say, lesser quality thrust lever, things can become a little bit harder there, let's put it that way. So the Honeycomb, in my opinion, is a very good all-rounder for having pretty much an all-in-one solution. Okay then, flaps 30, setting the speed bug down. Again, I'm using the Bravo throttle for that. So even though Honeycomb has problems right now, and even though I can totally understand why anybody of you might be rather hesitant to buy Honeycomb products at the moment, which is the reason why I'm recommending to get them from a third-party reseller, I do feel it is just with all the fire that Honeycomb is facing for the Charlie pedal fuck-up right now. And I can totally understand if you don't want to trust them with your money at this point, but I can just say that my personal experience with them, or rather with their hardware, not with them, but with their hardware, is that they are excellent pieces of hardware that are really worth considering for your flight sim lineup. Right now, with the problems the company is in, you do get about a 30% discount on their products, bringing them below the magic €200 market, or mark, I should say.
20, 10.
So it is really worth considering getting these at the moment, especially seeing that the company might sooner or later probably go bankrupt. So be sure to get them from a third-party reseller like Aerosoft, where you can easily return them in case you encounter problems, and where you are going to get the full product support. But ultimately, in my opinion, they are still a good grab for what they are, and if Honeycomb manages to get their company back under control and get them back running, as they say in the Facebook post they are working on right now, then I can absolutely recommend these to get these pieces of hardware. So that's going to be it for today's video. I just thought that is a topic that should as well be covered, because all I see on the internet now is that many people are actually attacking them for messing up the Charlie pedals. They absolutely did, there is no doubt about it. But they did produce some good pieces of hardware as well, such as the Alpha and the Bravo, and those are absolutely worth getting, and the opportunity certainly does present itself right now. Right, as mentioned before, that is a video that is completely not being paid by anybody except by the ads that I'm going to show on the video, so I didn't say any of that because, well, I would get paid for it or anything the likes, but indeed I simply say it because that is the way I do feel about their products. Now, shit happens. They do have some cleanup to do in their own company. They do have to reconsider the way how they dealt with customers over the past time. Even though personally I can sort of understand why things happened the way they happened. Basically, summarizing that as they obviously didn't know where the company was headed over the past couple of months. Now, you should still reply to your customers, you absolutely should, but, well, let's just put it that way. If I do assume that the guy running Honeycomb is an honest guy and that this was a big fuck up, as he describes in his Facebook article, and for the moment I don't have any proof for the contrary, then we can say that it is worth giving them a second chance, provided they're able to sort the problems out, and provided they are going to do something for those guys who gave him their money on the pre-sale. Now, that's my opinion on the current take regarding Honeycomb, and that's my opinion on the current situation that just evolved over the past 24 hours regarding Honeycomb. Now, let me know what you think about it in the comments below. Let me know if you think the same, like they do deserve a second chance, or let me know if you think like, no, they took our money, they don't deserve any second chance, that's gonna be it for them. Either opinion is obviously a valid one, and I do welcome any valid opinions that are not written in any harmful or accusing way towards anyone. So if you're just coming to insult anybody, please do refrain from it. I am going to delete insulting comments. But if you want to share your fair opinion in an honest and let's call it moderate way, then you're more than welcome to do so. Now, that's going to be it for this video, guys. I'm really interested in how this video is going to be received, because I do obviously realize that it is kind of going against the public opinion at the moment, and it is going against what many people are right now saying about Honeycomb. Now, rest assured, I can totally understand why there are going to be many people that are going to be hugely upset after giving them money on the pre-sale, but I do believe that it might be worth giving them a second chance, because the hardware they actually produced is, in my opinion, literally not rivaled in the flight simulation market for that price point at the moment. Now, thank you very much for watching. Do let me know your opinions in the comments below. Leave a like if you did like the video, leave a dislike if you did not like the video. And finally, if you're up for more, don't forget to subscribe to the channel. Thank you very much for watching, and then I see you all again on the next one.